From the depths of the dungeons to the tavern brawls, save the king, killed a giant. We've been through it all. I could fill up a tome, but you're not coming home. Well, we all saw it happen. We're the ones you saved. Gonna light you a candle, gonna tell your tale by the light of the moon. We'll remember you, dying a hero. Tried to help you with that diamond, but it wouldn't save your soul. And on that fateful day, the evil wizard came. Now everybody in this realm is singing out your name. Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane? Our adventures together went to hell and back. Spent the day slaying dragons and escaping traps, but massive damage is done. Now you're really gone. But we'll remember you, dying a hero. Tried to help you with that diamond, but it wouldn't save your soul. And on that fateful day, the evil wizard came. Now everybody in this realm is singing out your name. Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane? We'll remember you, dying a hero. Tried to help you with that diamond, but it wouldn't save your soul. And on that fateful day, the evil wizard came. Now everybody in this realm is singing out your name. Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane? Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane? Thousand years you've been reigning terror, stoking up fears from deep in your lair. We're here to tell you that your time has come. This is our kingdom today.
Who are the fools who would dare threaten me?
Dragon can fall, we'll slay you with our mighty sword. Dragon can fall, your heart will soon be ours. Dragon can fall, you are the beast we're training for. We are the party who dare threaten you. We have no fear of your ancient power. Your breath of fire will not make us cower. We're here to tell you that the spells are cast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Office Hours. I think we have everything working exactly as it needs to this time. I think the mic is working well. I think you can all hear me. I think the video's live. This looks like there's zero latency. We did it. We did it, team. Everyone, it's me, Devin, here to lead y'all through Office Hours. I'm really excited. We're hitting off on a great start here with the mic working on the first go. There we go. Team, wonderful updates today. A lot of stuff to talk about, and a small mini announcement that I'm going to give at the end of this. As always, if you have any questions during office hours, please type question in all caps, and then your question helps me see it in search or see it in chat. Additionally, if you have questions like, hey, how do I succeed as a dungeon master, game master on the site because you're brand new and this is your first office hours, some folks in chat will probably give you the advice that I would spout here. But we try to be a little more pointed in our office hours. Yeah. Let's go ahead and dive in. All right, let me bring up. So we removed free games from search in a test to see if that impacted the overall purchase rate. Do more people end up paying for paid games if there are no free games they can find in search? Or who knows? That was what we wanted to check. So we did it. Guess what? Nothing. It made no difference. Having free games in search, which is about a little less than 7% of total games are free, having them in search made no difference to the overall purchase rate. So we're going to keep free games in search for now. Let's see. I'm going to talk to you, y'all, about what we call spikes. So we have a tech spike and we have a design spike. And these are two forms of research. And this is like preliminary research before we start building out a test or a product. So for example, we have a current tech spike going on for a tool called Elastic. Elastic is a tool that allows us to create a more comprehensive text search that we would use this service rather than build ourselves. So Elastic would allow us to create an index, and we would be searching an index instead of a database. That would allow for us to search faster. That would also allow it would be better on our server. There's a lot of reasons why this would be cool, but we can also get pretty sophisticated with it. If you search for Curse of Strahd, we don't have to look just over the title. We can look over, are they using this as a module, and show those results. So so we're doing a tech spike in that, and tech spikes are usually they're kind of like when we have the extra time, go ahead and dive into it. But there's three spikes that we're futzing around with right now. One is the search that I just talked about, and then we're going into another one that is around filter usage. And that's a design spike. And a design spike is like, hey, we don't really know how we want to change the UI on our filters, but we're going to go ahead and explore some things on the design side. And so that looks at what are some competitors doing? What can we do? What are all the filters we need? Because we're going to run an A/B test where we include more filters than we currently have. Then we also have a other payments methods spike. So we can upgrade some things on Stripe, which has an increased cost, but there's this thought process that maybe we can also see an increase in conversion rate by offering more payment methods. The first step of this is seeing what it would take to do this, the cost, and exploring that. And then the second would be actually running an A/B test, and do we actually see a higher conversion rate when we offer more payment methods? If we don't see a higher conversion rate, then we don't need to add this added cost into the platform, right? We don't want to, but maybe the added cost is kind of worth it. Maybe we see a 15% increase in conversions, and maybe that's worth it as a platform for us to pay that difference because we are seeing more conversions. But if conversions are flat, right, makes no difference, then it probably doesn't make sense to roll that out. Let's see. We have a question. Haley, no, it does not include free session zeros. And it just included free games. So not first session free session zeros, etc. Ace asks, question, how did payment upon sign-up beta going? If a game doesn't make it, do those people get refunded? Yes, that actually ended, and we didn't notice. What we noticed is there was a bigger delta between sign-ups and the onboarding. So if 100 people go through checkout, the onboarding rate is different, right? Because if you charge at checkout, the onboarding rate is going to be 100 because the onboarding rate checks sign up to charge. Pretty high refund rate, around 25% refund rate. And that's acceptable, right? Because that means the game just didn't happen, so we refund them. But on the other side, when you have charge at checkout as the default in the checkout experience, less people went through checkout. So more people felt confident knowing they wouldn't be charged till the game happened. So let's say 100 people go through on the regular checkout. And then and out of those 100 people, 20 of them actually decide to check out. In the test, let's say only 10 decided to check out, which means there's this 10 delta, right? And then even though the onboarding was higher, the actual level of total customers coming in was less. So that's why we won't be rolling out with the charge at checkout. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if that is unclear. Are you allowed to record to monetize sites, YouTube and Twitch, as long as your players are aware and comfortable with it? Of course. Okay. So we talked about other payment methods, Spike, search design Spike, and our search box Spike. We talked about removing free games from search and that it didn't really affect the sign-up rate of paid games. Another test that is coming out is the cutoff time test. Currently, as a GM, you put in a cutoff time. The only thing that does on the actual system itself is show a user a notice that says, hey, you might not be able to get into this game. It's starting in an hour, and the GM says they need 10 hours to onboard you. It's only something we show, but we still continue to show those games in search at that time. The test we're going to do is we're going to remove those games from search at that cutoff time, so people are more likely to see the games they'd be able to play that day. This is really important to players from our interviews. So we're going to see. There's a lot of GMs, though, who are like, I can onboard a player in an hour, in 20 minutes. And so as long as those cutoff times are set to that number, it should be fine. We'll be doing this as an A/B test to see if it actually increases overall purchases. Ross M. Roll20Con event. Selected from the drop-down when scheduling says Roll20Con takes all proceeds and tips. Is accurate? Yes, because it is for a charity. The Roll20Con is going to be for the Trevor Project, I believe. And so if you're participating in Roll20Con, it's a charity event. But you'll see more information on that, I assume, as Sarah sends out some more updates about the event. Okay, then we have Giorgio. About cutoff time, does the system calculate the amount of cutoff time and remove them automatically? That's what it would be doing, yes. Giorgio, right now, it does not do that. The A/B test will be that. Actually, this is actually my current time zone. So you think that I'm in Pacific time, but I'm actually in a pocket dimension. Okay, let's go ahead. We also have the save games that we'll be testing probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So players will be able to save a game. If your game has some players saving it, you will, on the actual adventure page itself that people see in search, it'll show 3 people are following this game, 5 people are following this game, etc. Then players can also get notifications about this game and updates around it. Let's see. And that'll be a B test. unlike GM Follow and Fave, which just overwhelmingly a lot of the evidence and we got from players is that they want to get notified. We saw a little bit higher on the unsubscribe after we rolled that out. We're thinking it's just kind of that initial push, but we're going to see how it goes over time. Mr. Multi, that's a whole that is a whole hour of conversation I could go into elsewhere. So let's see. Hold on one second. What is the best way to do this? Quickly. Okay. Let's move on to play-by-post. Play-by-post. We will be doing a test that removes play-by-post from campaigns and one-shots, and play-by-post becomes its own type, its own game type. So it would be campaigns, play-by-post, and one-shots. We think that this is going to lead to a higher purchase rate because people will be able to find what they're looking for, and they'll be separated. There's this other theory, though, that because they exist in campaigns, they're also converting really well. We'll find out. We're not sure what the answer is, but we're going to be testing this probably starting tomorrow. Let's see. Mr. Multi, again, there's a bunch of videos on this YouTube channel that I had made when I was doing what I called like a social media mastermind with a couple GMs. I would go and watch those. That's probably the best advice I could give you, or as far as tools. Follow game does apply to one-shots. Temple Geek. GM Chris was told to remove a game called Starting October in future games as it was in the same slot as a current game in September. Any advice on promoting those games in the future in that slot? I would probably say if you're doing things in the future, we don't really have a solution for that yet. It's a problem I kind of know exists that came out of game status, but we had to launch, we had to find a better way of recruiting. I think in the future we might come up with some exact start date in the recruiting side of game status, but I don't have an answer for that right now. Let's see. In one of the recent updates, something changed. I can no longer set a player to free. Now there's a toggle that allows me to set the next session to free. So if I forget this, it changes. Gray Lion, you could actually use the add by email tool, and you can add that person, and they're added for free indefinitely in your game. Okay. Let's move on to GM availability. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry. Urgent text came through. GM availability. Yes, GM availability. Really cool project that we're working on. We want to make it so that you can go to the Find GM page rather than the Find Games page, and you could say, hey, I'm looking for a GM who's free on Fridays at 6. What it would do, it would look to see, hey, does this GM have an active game? Or is this GM available Fridays? Cool, they are. Are they available Friday evenings at 6? Yep, they are. Do they have an active game? Yeah, they got an active game with a player in it. We're not going to show them. This GM, though, maybe has a pending game, no one in it. We'll show them. This GM has no games because they're running most of their games on Saturday and Sunday, but they are available on Fridays. It'll show those GMs. This will be another A/B test, but we want to see if this helps increase custom requests. Custom requests is a very small amount of our business, but I want to see if we can increase it because I do know that there is a customer out there, albeit a smaller one, but I want to know how much better we can serve them. So GM availability is a fun project we'll be working on in September. But the big thing is we want to make sure we are showing people or showing players who are looking for a GM the right thing. Now, some people are like, well, if they're running a game, there's a seat available, you should show me. Well, if that was the case, they would just be using game search, not GM search. That's why we'll be doing some kind of exclusions. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. There you all are. Okay. Next up on our list. Top GM badge exploration. So, raise your hand if you were here and you were already familiar with the top GM experiment we ran last month. Giorgio is asking, do you have any news on European DMs? I imagine that translating the service to Euro might be difficult, but about UA adverts and such. Yeah, I'll talk about internationalization more at the end here. Soli KP. Yes, when I was talking about GM availability, if I search for a system that GM isn't currently running, but they have run it, and they have availability, the goal is to have them show up. The big thing is, though, if you're not running games on our platform and you're not recruiting games on our platform, you're not going to show in search. We don't want to show dead accounts. We don't want to show results of GMs who just aren't running games. So we want to prioritize GMs who are actively recruiting for games and actively running games on the platform. If you have no games listed, then you won't show up in the GM search. And that's currently how it works, and we're going to continue to keep that. Let's see. Now we're going to talk about the top GM badge expanding. So we had the top GM badge. It accounted for around 20% of GMs in our modeling. This is what we saw. The interesting outcome, though, is we saw a higher retention rate on all joins in the test. So when we showed this status on some accounts, the overall retention rate of all people, even the people who joined with non-top GMs that were marked as top GMs, was 10% higher than the control. Additionally, we had a higher top of funnel join rate. So more people were joining games in the experiment than the control. Although the difference between the control and the variant, when the amount of people joining top GMs, 10% in the control and 14% in the test, which means overwhelmingly people weren't joining more top GMs. There's only a 4%, 4% difference between both experiments, but more people were joining overall. I think there was something like a 19% increase in joins. So this is what we were noticing is it wasn't, it wasn't. I'm trying to find the right word for it, but something where the tail skipped too far in one direction. Right. One of my worries was also that we would see all these joins on top GMs, but then the exact same metrics would be affected because you can't really change player behavior. Players will be flaky. Players will be flaky. But overwhelmingly, we saw a higher retention rate, and we saw more people join, and we didn't see an overwhelming amount of people join just with top GMs. So now what we're going to do is we're going to expand it to the modeling we used to 30%, and we're going to see if that holds. If that holds, that's great, because what we're learning is this signal is essentially converting players in some manner. We don't know what that is, but in some way, this is making players feel more trusted about the service. Maybe it's because there is some sort of managed marketplace aspect to it. So we'll go ahead and see. Okay. Hold on one second. Sorry. Is great if you can. I'm very sorry. I wasn't expecting that message to come through today. So we got some questions here. Let's go ahead and go over this. So maybe people want to see that there are top GMs, even if they don't specifically want to join with the top GM. I mean, yeah, there's might be they might just provide more trust around the service that there's some sort of measurement going on. Dave Smash, is there any sort of incentive to encourage players, especially one-shots, to actually leave a review? The frequency of which players leave a review is discouraging. No, there's no incentive. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, I think that is all the unanswered questions there. So we'll be rolling this out in the next few weeks, but we'll be rolling it out to 30% of GMs that fit that modeling we talked about, which is these 40 different aspects that we had essentially did a modeling on the likelihood of these games actually happening, or the likelihood of a player having a charge event after joining with that GM, because that's one of the best ways to measure onboarding, right? So, but there's this modeling we did, 40 different aspects that are kind of touching on it, and we use that to kind of determine the top 30. Let's see. TJ, will you repost your question? Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Now we're going to talk about the homepage A/B test. The homepage A/B test is pretty exciting. We are doing some new visuals on the homepage, kind of making the hero really exciting. Let me actually pull this up. This is pretty cool. I'll actually share this with you. All right. We're going to go to Files. Let's find our homepage test. Uh-oh. I'm not being fast about it. Let's see. It's in the sandbox. Homepage explorations. Okay, let's just see if I can find it in the PRD. There we go. Okay, found it. All right. Let's see if I can share this with you. We want to share Figma. Okay, here we go. So these are some of the home pages that we're looking to actually explore. Make this a little smaller. There we go. So here's one of them. This would include these kind of filter options here. We're hoping that this kind of prompts users to quickly understand what you can do on StartPlaying. We have another version here. You can see has these filters. Also has these kind of top scenario filters. And then we have this one as well. So this is something that we'll be testing in the next few weeks as well. One of the big things is we hope that people will start using the filters faster, right? And we feel with filter usage, people are more likely to understand how the site works and what they can look for. So that's exciting. We also did a lot of A/B testing on the hero. Play D&D Tonight is the #1 highest clicked Google ad, highest clicked Meta. That works the best. So we're working with that. Then the sub one is your favorite tabletop RPGs run by online professional game masters. The goal is to start with a visual test, and then the second goal is to start with a copy test. A copy test would be, hey, let's explore some things that are more agnostic to gaming, things that are more or even less agnostic, and see what copy also does best. Ace, let's see. Did TJ? Did you ask your question again? Question. If you have only one game running, will you still appear? Yep, you will. Okay. Ace, at any point, will full games show up on the GM profiles? This may encourage players to sign up for that GM if it looks like they're running a lot of games. Maybe. I think what we want to do is we want to communicate that GMs are running games. But the big thing is when we show full games, bookings go down. You get less bookings when I show your full games. This is something we've seen time and time again with different explorations. So that's why we don't show full games, because it lowers the chance that someone books. Why? Because people want the thing that they can't have. So when you are presented with a few options, you normally would think, well, they won't consider the thing they can't have, right? But what happens is they see the thing they can, and it doesn't look as good because there's something that they can't have. And so that's why we've kind of refrained from that. But I understand the idea is having an empty selection is kind of a funny thing. So there are some ideas on how we want to explore that, but we want to kind of communicate like there's, this GM is running, X amount of campaigns or something right now. What is the difference between learn to play and beginner? Learn to play is exclusively one-shots. Beginner is like, hey, a new campaign, but this is for beginners. Learn to play is exclusively and It'd also be applying to a whole new project in the future, but Learn to Play is really one-shots with a very specific details in mind. One, Boxy Llama. Any possibility for a format one day where players create a game, invite their friends, maybe even propose what time they'd be willing to pay, propose what they're willing to pay, and let the GM apply and let GMs apply to GM it for them. One Boxy Llama. We haven't seen that as an interest. We haven't seen that as something that players want. We've heard. That's another thing is like there's a lot of companies out there that have tried to go from the angle of like, hey, find a group and then find a GM. And then all this work to actually make it happen. And it doesn't seem to work for a lot of these companies. We really put forward the idea of like the GM is the person that you're looking for. And if you can find a GM that can run at the time you've already committed to, that's what's going to lead to the booking. So One Boxy Llama, we've kind of strayed away from that model because historically it just hasn't worked. And we found so much success in the reverse. Would you do a live review of a listing to give some help? Probably not now because we have a lot of people. We need to get through a lot of stuff today. But there is a whole part of the Discord where you can get a lot of insight and advice to your game listing. But before you even ask for advice on your listing, read the others' advice that people are giving because I'm sure it applies to you. That's the great thing. Like there's so much great advice in that channel. Okay, let's see. I submitted an email suggesting a feedback team. SVG loses a lot of players to bad games and inexperienced DMs. Having a feedback team member sign up for campaigns that continue. Lost a player and are in session 10. Might be able to get feedback. Yeah, I mean that just doesn't scale. I mean that's unfortunately, like there's always gonna be. We have such a small amount of churn that like that's not a huge concern for us. Something like 65 to 75% of users retain, which is way higher than most industry averages, especially for a service like this. Now you could always try to like eke out, like make that 75, 80, but you're going to spend more time and money to do that than you could to increase like from 500 customers to 1,000 customers. And that's going to net you a more positive return for GMs. That's why we haven't done think about it. We have 5,000 GMs signing up for a game. Like you'd have to have so many people sign up for so many games that you wouldn't have enough time to do all that. And you have to hire so many people. The margins would then just cut into like the actual labor cost. We do not have a result on pending, or that's going to have to go for like 3 months, unfortunately, because it requires so much data. I just created a approved beginner game that's specifically for Learn to Play, so it would automatically show up for both. Yeah, I mean, if it's marked as beginner, or just if you have the experience marked as beginner. New SBG merch in the future? In fact, that's a great question. This is like some premium merch that we might have. Come on. This is like a knit sweater with one of the designs on it. Check this out. But this is a sample. I wanted to see like how the supplier worked, and I was pretty impressed. So we might have some of those in the future, but we're gonna have another T design soon. Is the Learn to Play tag still limited to D&D? Well, right now the scenario tag is Learn to Play D&D, so it only shows D&D. And we might open it up if we have more partnerships with actual publishers to make sure that we can sustain a good ecosystem for having Learn to Play games available. See, here's a great reason why we want to do things like this, right? If there are only 10 people every week coming to learn Call of Cthulhu, right? There's more people coming because they want to play Call of Cthulhu, but Learn to Play, right? There's only 10 people. Then there's not a lot of gyms who are going to run Learn to Play games, right? You're going to have 5. So you hit Learn to Play, Call of Cthulhu, you click it, there's 5 games. Okay, that's not going to work for those 10 players. But if we're working with Chaosium, they're also like they have a portion on their site where this is Learn to Play, takes you to Start Playing. With that partnership, when new people join their email list, it sends also, if you want to learn to play on Start Playing, here's a referral code, get $10 off your first game. If they're doing that, Then it also makes sense for us to build into a part of our marketing machine around Chaosium that says like, hey, come and learn how to play Call of Cthulhu in our ads or influencers. So then we have two things working to generate those new users into a learn to play experience. Then GMs, it makes sense for them to want to make a lot of these systems around that game because it becomes this ecosystem that is supporting itself by not just us, but also by publishers. So that's a huge aspect. If publishers are ready to put in the energy to help support that ecosystem, then we'll be exploring that 100%. Let's see, new collabs. Yeah, always. We're doing something with Renegade. We're doing something with a few other companies. Yeah, a bunch of stuff. Will there be any like how many Call of Cthulhu games are running or how many active Kids on Bikes games are? No, I mean, we're going to keep that pretty proprietary to ourselves right now, but you can always see like what game is most popular from the homepage and the games page. Will those sweaters be machine or tumble dry? Let's see. They are machine wash warm, tumble dry. Yeah, tumble dry. I mean the sweater's pretty good. Like this is pretty impressive. This is a nice. It's actual knit, not printed. Okay, let's see. Qatar SR. The problem is there's not enough people looking for the learn to play of those other systems. So that's why we want to have it bifurcated or separated to begin with, because generally people are coming to the site if they're looking to learn to play. It's always D&D, and that's the thing is we have to lead with D&D because D&D is what leads to multiple system bookings. So, for example, our system specific or agnostic ads do not perform as well as our D&D ads, and still we see the same spread of booking between the two. So more people are likely to play in another game or D&D, the same if we had an ad that was generalized, right? But the spend and the reach is higher with D&D. Okay. We will be at PAX Unplugged. Absolutely. We will be there. Be happening soon. Yes, we are currently collaborating with Roll20Con. Okay, let me go back to my notes here. Keep us moving. We'll be doing some cool stuff with James RPG pretty soon. GM Search is still testing. We're doing this big test to see if these added filters in Game Master Search result in a higher booking rate. These filters are like identity tags, tons of stuff. There's like 6 new filters being added to GM Search in this test. Player Profiles has launched. Now we're testing to see if Player Profiles being visible on the actual product page, the game listing adventure page, if that leads to a higher booking chance, if you can see like who's in your game. So tell your players to fill out their profiles. The idea is if you have some players in your game and I'm coming into it, I'm like, see, oh, these people look cool. They look like, I would enjoy the game, or they look real, right? It creates more social proof. So if I go and I look at your game and I see there's 3 other people in it, and I look at their profiles, like, oh, these are real people. Oh, this is okay. But I can trust this. So it's another way to also create trust. It also shows, what's social proof, right? So that's exciting. Is there an SPG event for the Taylor Swift engagement? Nah. She's got enough money and tie-ins herself. But if she wants to give us some money for an event, I will take that money and I will put it towards good use. A few years ago, I had a toxic player in my game. At the time, I couldn't do anything about it. Thankfully, they didn't review bomb me. What can a GM do? Well, if they're a toxic player, if they've done anything that breaks the code of conduct or terms of service, then you could report them to StartPlaying. That's how it's always been. Let's see. GM notifications, save game notifications, checkout improvements. We're releasing an updated checkout. It involves some new trust messaging. This trust messaging is just ensuring people, like, hey, if your game doesn't happen, you'll get a refund, right? It also removes the message GM box into the post-checkout page. And then we're going to be testing out a timer. Let's see. Find games EB test. Yeah, we already talked last time about a layout test. Let's see. Is there anything else on our PRDs that's interesting? No, that is about it. We're going to be wrapping up our theme on like onboarding slash matchmaking, and that is the rate at which when people book, what is the likelihood that they actually get charged because they actually get to play in a game. So we call that matchmaking, aka onboarding. That is the theme we've had for the past 3 months. We are wrapping that theme up, and we'll be starting a new theme in about the next week or two. We have a other current theme that we're still working on, which is the conversion rate optimization, which is to how do we make sure as many people who come to the site actually convert. So that's kind of like the top of funnel thing. We try to work on 2 themes at a time. And we just had a big meeting last week where kind of like the senior leads all sat down and we looked at like the different things that we want to do for the rest of the year and what we're going to look at next year. Next year, of course, will involve kids games, internationalization, and in-person gaming. If you run kids games on StartPlaying or elsewhere or on OutSchool, please reach out to our support team, reach out to me. One of our staff is doing a bunch of interviews on folks who are running kids games as we kind of build that out. We'll be starting with kids games. So we'll be doing in-person, and then we'll be doing internationalization. But before we do internationalization, we will be doing some testing to see where we'll start with our internationalization. So that's some testing around languages and things like that. But yeah, very excited for in-person, very excited for kids games, and very excited for internationalization. $18 to $20, Ace. Okay. Let's see. Now, there's one other bit of information that I think we'll go into, and then we'll just do some general Q&A. Some of you probably know the rest of the founding team. It's myself, it's Jared and Nate. Jared, CTO, Nate, CEO, me, COO. Jared and Nate have actually gone and left StartPlaying there and going to work on their next projects. Nate is going to he's going to go and start his next startup along with Jared. Both of them are on to their next journey, and I've taken over as the new CEO. This has been in the works. I've been the acting CEO for the past 3 months, but as of last week, we've kind of finished all of the paperwork. Jared and Nate, Nate is still in my weekly D&D game. He is still a chairman of the board. Jared is still a founding member and an advisor to the company. So, but the big thing is Jared loves to build foundational things. So he's ready to go build his next thing. Same with Nate. They've been here for 5 years. They're excited to move on to the next project. And they know how passionate I am about our mission here to create communities through play and, of course, serve all of you. So it was kind of like the natural choice. Thank you for the congratulations. But yeah, so this has been like a thing I've been about for the past 3 months, but I'm excited I can now tell all of you because we've kind of finished all the paperwork. But yeah, Nate and Jared took off, I think officially 2 months ago, something like that. But it was about a year of planning between me and Nate to actually make sure everything went smoothly. We're not going to... The big thing about like C-suite roles is you only hire them if they're needed. Right now, we're not at a size to really need a lot of C-suite. So we still have, most of the operations is covered through Gab, who is our ops manager. Shittis, thank you so much. Ross M, will the next merch drop be limited in the same way as last? I lost out and be able to buy any merch because I needed to wait for the night to afford it, and my size was out. So that's actually really Ross. There's going to be a new. Most of it is limited run because we have to. We can only get so many, right? We used to do pre-orders, but the pre-orders kind of frustrated a lot of people because they had to wait so long to get their merch. So now we're just kind of ordering ahead of time based off of previous orders and just having a flat amount of stock. But we are going to do like a special release where you can get some of our older designs, but they've been tweaked. So if you still have the OG version, you still have the OG version, but there'll be another way to have some of the older designs represented. Let's see. But yes, huge congrats to Nate and Jared on their next project. They're my brothers, I can't believe I did this with 5 years for them. That's amazing. So yeah, let's see what other questions we have. When running a game, do you start playing know that a session is active? Is there a start session button the game master presses? RX randonful. So when you set a time, right, for the game, you actually set the session. If your game is pending, it's not active. But once you set it to active, that allows you to schedule sessions. If it's a one shot, you have to set to active once you have enough players that have joined. An active game will essentially auto charge an hour after the start time. So as long as you have a session scheduled, the charge will go through. If you delete the session, then no charge can happen. When you say internationalization, do you mean mostly translating the site or also charging in euro and other currencies? Yeah, it's charging other currencies. It's translation. It's support, and it's also it's also compliance. And that's kind of a funky thing. That'll also help determine where we want to start because some countries the compliance just might not be worth it at this stage of our company size for the return, and that's a tricky thing because the compliance is so expensive and maybe that country's currency is so undervalued that we would have to see the 10 times the return of our current platform in this other country, right? So it's really finicky, but we're going to first explore in languages on what language is the most popular on StartPlaying currently, what places are have a largest appetite with some research, and then we'll move in from there. Zathis says, how in-person games works? Who knows? No clue. The goal, like having them on the roadmap is like, we got to solve it. We got to figure it out. We have some ideas. We've talked to a ton of game stores over the past 5 years, and I just talked to one the other day. But it's probably going to involve, it probably won't have, we have to insure GMs. We have to there's got to be this liability. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So it's a nightmare. But I'm excited to solve that problem because I think it's going to be good for GMs. I think it's going to be good for the community in general. Shidness, there's been a good deal of consternation of the new next session free button, and we've seen spikes in Discord yelling, when will the add by email button, when the add by email button break? Oh, it breaks. I don't know about that breaking, Shidness. How has the pending active switching enforcement issues been recently? We've noticed a dip in people having the pending active problem compared to previously. Part of me wants to look into it and making it like an auto switch, especially for one shots. But that's kind of some down the road projects. Let's see. Shit is, I don't know about the add to email button breaking. But one of the big things is people say, like, if a player is going to take a 3-week break, then just skip them for 3 weeks. I mean, that's kind of the easiest way. The big thing is it creates a big technical challenge to have the next session free to switch back, and then also having a forever zero that isn't by a different avenue via the email. So it creates this kind of like technical limitation that we could fix, but it's such a I guess, what is that knot? It's a big knotted problem. And so I think what we're going to wait for the pattern to become normalized and then do some research on, okay, now that's normalized, what is the biggest sticking points? And maybe that's like make session free for next 10 sessions or something like that. So that's kind of how I'm approaching it right now. Are you looking for new onboarders? There used to be 4, now there's 3. Yes, I just don't have time to do it anymore. It used to be me, Sarah, Hunter, and Eric. And that's Sarah's purview. She oversees onboarding. So if she needs more, that's for her to decide. I live in a major city, and I'm very excited for in-person stuff. Me too. Let's see. What is Nate and Jared's next project? They're still debating. Right now Nate's taking some time just to relax and kind of in this faux retirement, and Jared's just exploring. But it was one of those things where it kind of just made sense. They decided to do it at the same time, and they're kind of just taking a well-deserved break. And me, no breaks. I'm gonna have a kid and a new role. Who needs sleep? Not me. Any updates on campaign finished? We'll probably sometime by the end of this year, we're gonna be doing on some like word of mouth projects and some quality of life projects, and that will be tackled there. Zathis, no, if you mainly because it creates this issue that we can't re-trigger it back if we have the forever. So that option isn't there yet. Like I said, in the future we might explore like you can put in a number of sessions, like 10 sessions, something like that. But right now I would recommend just skipping. But we did a lot of research around this to find out like how many people are setting things, and the biggest thing we noticed is like the discount. Most people will set a discounted rate forever rather than a zero forever outside of seat fillers, and that's why we have the add by email tool. Ross, currently one of our GMs is trained and compensated to do the onboarding. That is currently something that is live. But again, that's Sarah's purview. Question: you mentioned for the internationalization, you'd be looking at which areas would make the most sense. Are there any countries that you were looking at as targets? Yeah, so probably we'd be looking at Latin America and South America. Europe are all really strong contenders. I don't consider internationalization to be Canada in like the largest respect, right? Because like less like we do like Quebec and French Canada, which would involve translation. But one of the big things is there's a lot of regulation in that part of Canada too. Like how you have to advertise in French. So we're gonna look at the big list of like, hey, where do we have the most interest? That's non-English speaking first, because we have good success in the UK, Australia, New Zealand, etc. But where do we have good big interest in non-English first, and what can we learn the fastest? And so that's probably going to be like countries that have a lower level of compliance if we're operating with a local currency, things like that. So we can get to a goal faster to know that we have a good playbook for rolling out into different languages and countries. Is there any movement on paying webinar speakers for each webinar they do? My last webinar, I have 40 cents. I would like to hold more per month. Right now, we are paying just for the ones that we're commissioning. But I definitely recommend, if you want, create a webinar, a paid webinar, and see if you can get some signups for it. I mean, I think that's kind of like the future we do see, where there are so many qualified GMs that are able to run these webinars in the ecosystem that exists, and there's people that are looking to up level. Let's see. People are running for kids experience. Should we address the email to support? Yes. Please address to support, and they'll go ahead and route it to Gabby. Let's see. I think, gosh, team, I think we did it. If there's any other questions, we'll give it 5 more minutes and then we'll start wrapping up. And I guess if you want, we can. You guys want some Valentine? Want to see the pup? Check this out. Boom. iPhone. Okay, let's go ahead and see this dog. Oh no, it's not working anymore. Dang. All right. I was able to get the, I somehow had it so I can connect my phone to OBS. Okay, let's see what other questions we have. Can you tell us about the backer kit for the new album? Gosh, guys, crowdfunding is such a slog. It's so hard to do. I have so much going on, but yes, I have the album that you always hear, the music you hear before we go live, is an album that I'm trying to get through backer kit. I've paid for most of the album, but I want to give the musicians more work. If people want more songs. So that's the idea, is to just crowdfund if people want more music, and then let people be able to use this music like copyright free or DRM free, as long as it's not like profiting off of the music itself. But you're like, oh, I want to use this in my videos. Cool, great, go for it, without having to worry about like copyright takedowns, and still be able to monetize on their channels. So yeah, but man, crowdfunding is a pain in the you know what. Question: I missed the thing about running for kids. Could you repeat that, please? Tommy Moreland, if you currently run games for kids, start playing independently throughout school, through sword and sorcery youth programs, etc., please reach out to our support team. Let them know that you're interested in collaborating with us on our rollout into kids' games. Zathis Dark Mode for SPG. That will happen. That will happen. We are really close. We are really close to dark mode. Ultimately, my concern with add by email button is that it should be a manual player side opt-in to avoid potential mischief. But you move. Oh, you mean like a GM adding someone by email that's like they shouldn't be. Qatar SR question: you mentioned compliance as one aspect of internationalization. Is there currently any major issues for GMs in Europe? There's some compliance stuff that we have to make with our site, and so but like every country has certain there's certain levels of compliance everywhere, and we just have to decide which one's going to be worth it based off of the total addressable market, what the compliance is, what the interest is, and the kind of the value of the currency. Isaac, are there publishers you think may partner in the future? It can be hard for show readers like me to learn a game within a time frame of announcement to launch the event. I mean, it's all in the publishers. When the publishers want to work with us, we're ready. But we don't spend a lot of time courting or going out and saying, "Hey, work with us." It's one of those things we're such a small team, right? And so we're so focused on the things we are. But when a publisher is like, "I'm ready to work with you. I have this, we want to do this launch, etc." We're 100% in making it happen. Ross, the A/B test showing free games in search doesn't affect the sign up of paid games. Okay, I think we did it. Oh my goodness, I am so pumped. Okay, let's see. Well, should we call it a day? Yeah. DM Dan, I cannot confirm nor deny any plans on badges. I can't confirm that there's been slotted work for badges in Q4. I can't deny or confirm anything around badges. There's nothing happening, or maybe there is, who knows? But as far as I know, who knows? There's definitely nothing happening in Q4 that I know about. TJ, the announcement was that the leadership change. Okay. Yeah. Well, we only have 5 American Girl dolls to sell, Eric. So I have to be a little more niche in my announcements. Okay. Perfect. Team, thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will see you in the Discord. Bye for now.
Thousand years you've been reigning terror, stroking our fears from deep in your lair. We're here to tell you that your time has come. This is our kingdom today.
Who are the fools who would dare threaten me?
Dragon from far.